Welcome back to the Spooky Mom Show. I'm your host, the Spooky Mom, and today I'm going to give a message for the collective. Now, this message is generalized and can fit a lot of different people, so please understand that it is just a general message. Don't try and make anything fit to the scenario that you're in. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Now, before I got started, a couple of different decks wanted to come out for messages, one of them being the Housewives Tarot deck, Talking to Heaven, and the Wild Unknown Tarot. There's something floating around in the conscience right now, in particular, for a lot of us in dealing with addiction and patterns and noticing toxic traits, but not really doing anything about it. Let's dive right in and see what messages the universe has for us. The Lovers, Judgment, the Empress, and the Queen of Cups. Someone recently has lost somebody that they love very much to addictions. This person struggled with their emotions, so they found comfort and solace within drug addiction, food addiction. Addiction takes many different forms, but the gist of the message is addiction. There is a loved one on the other side that wants somebody out there to understand that there was nothing you could have done. You could not have loved them differently. The way you loved them was the way that they needed to be loved. But it was never going to change the patterns and the habits that they had. If you yourself are struggling with addiction right now, and you have loved ones that are surrounding you and are telling you, you gotta get sober, you gotta stop eating, you gotta do XYZ, you gotta be better. Understand that they're not saying this to be mean or cruel. Even though it does sound that way, it is off-putting. The message is coming from a place of love because they care for you and they want you to care for yourself. You are never alone. The earth is our school. Although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. I feel healthy and happy. Somebody out there right now, and my condolences to you, you have lost somebody who was struggling with addiction. And they want you to know that you could not have loved them any differently, and nor would they want you to love them any differently. They're always with you. They will never leave you, and you will find divine messages throughout your day, whether it be a feather that was the same color of their hair, whether it be their favorite song comes on the radio as soon as you start your car, or a random stranger walks up to you and puts a nickel in your hand and tells you that everything is going to be okay. You did exactly what you could have done to help that individual during that point in their lives. If you are listening to this and you yourself are struggling with addiction, understand that this message is also from your spirit guides and your angels, and they love you and they want to help you, but they can't do that if you don't let them. You have to help yourself. And as somebody who is 15 years sober from prescription pills and alcohol, I can tell you, it is not an easy journey. It is very hard, but it is possible and it can be done. There is always hope. The Ace of Swords from the Wild Unknown, the Judgment card, and the Five of Swords. For those of you that are listening to this and you yourself are struggling with addiction, no matter how that addiction looks, the Ace of Swords is telling you that unless you pick up the sword and you cut ties and you go through the emotional turmoil that is going to happen when you cut those ties, you will forever be in this habitual pattern and it will never break. But you have the power to break this pattern, and you have the power to be a better individual. The Judgment card shows darkness and then a white dove above it in a bright light. This is telling you that there is hope and there is light at the end of that dark tunnel that you find yourself in. But nobody can lead you to that light, only you can. Understand that the human beings in our lives, the good and the bad, are put here for two reasons. One, either people are put in our lives to show us what it's like when we don't change and when we don't make better choices in our lives, and how toxic those lives can be when we don't change. Or B, we have people put in our lives who are sober, who, yes, have struggled with addiction, but they have come out the other side of it, and they are there to help us pick up the pieces and put them back together so that we may help ourselves, so that we can grow and help others. Addiction is hard. But you need to understand that you are not alone. You will never be alone, even though it feels like that. The Five of Swords is telling you that you have the strength within you, if you dig deep enough, to cut the patterns. You will be okay, and the people who love you the most are the ones who are going to stand by your side and help you through this. I hope that whoever this message reached, that it helped in some form. I hope it brought you a little bit of peace. And for those of you who are desperately loving somebody who is struggling with addiction, regardless of what that addiction looks like, whether it be drugs, alcohol, food, or any other addiction out there, understand that it's hard to break those patterns. But if that person is determined, it can be done. And all you can do is love and support them. If they require you to go to a meeting with them, then go to that meeting and hold their hand. Because sometimes the scariest part of recovery is admitting you have a problem. I hope this message helps. And I hope that you all learn to love one another regardless of what we are going through in our lives. Because remember, every day we meet somebody and we know nothing about them, and everybody has struggles. Everybody has demons. I want you all to remember, Spooky Mom loves you. Stay spooky.